Okay, so I've been watching a couple of the Ezra Eagle videos since I last made my video. And one of the things that kept getting my attention was like, oh man, maybe I'm wrong with this concept that maybe Trump is the first eagle head and that maybe the eagle heads aren't evil, because that's kind of how the last couple of videos that I happened across really referenced that. And I was just sitting with that. I'm like, well, maybe the whole point wasn't to know what the eagle heads are. Maybe it was just to recognize what the plucked up is. And so I just kind of figured I'd let that go. But again, it's just interesting how sometimes things will sit with me and sit with me. And I just kept feeling this urge to go and reread about the eagle heads specifically. And so I did. And in chapter 12 of Second Esedras, what that's the part of the interpretation that the angel gives Ezra. He says, whereas you saw 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. In the last days thereof will the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, so the 3 eagle heads, and renew many things therein. And that got my attention, because what is Trump trying to do? He is trying to restore constitutional principles. And I just like, oh man, like, I can't know that that's what this is, but it kind of like, okay, so we're talking about the eagle heads like they're evil, but I don't know that they're evil. They might still be wicked, because anytime you have leaders that are depending on the arm of flesh instead of the arm of God, I mean, that's a wickedness, right? So anyways, it's like, raise up 3 eagle heads to renew many things therein, and they will bear rule over the earth. And which I also was thinking about some of the things Trump has said lately, and like, don't be messing with the Middle East, because you're like, oh, not that one. It was like to return the hostages, because if they're not back by the time he gets in, all hell's gonna break loose. I think, I don't remember specific wording, but I was just like, no, like, I can totally see why he would be looking like he's ruling with oppression, because he's not gonna put up with crap. Let's see, and over those that dwell therein, and with much oppression, above all those that were before them, and therefore they are called the heads of the eagle. Oh, and the other thing is, I was just thinking about how many like elites that are heads of companies like Bezos and Amazon and Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and like all these things, that they're like backtracking now. It's like, oh, we're not going to like do the free, like we're all about free speech now. Like, they are terrified that he's going to come after them. And I don't know that he would, but like, because of the things that they believe, like, I can see that being interpreted as the oppression. And quite frankly, like, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe he's there, and again, it's like temptation of man. It's like we are tempted and we go too far. I'm like, no one is perfect, and we can do some really bad things, and so we won't know until we know. I mean, this is really going to be a looking back kind of a concept. um Let's see, where you saw the greatest had appeared no more, it signifies one of them will die upon his bed, yet with pain. So again, I'm really struggling with this idea that a lot of people have been mentioning, which, I mean, it's a reasonable idea. I had this concept of like, maybe this is representing the 3 branches of government, or maybe this is the left, right, and shadow government. They're reasonable things to consider, but this interpretation tells me that I don't think that that's it. This is specifically talking about individuals. So one will die upon his bed, yet with pain. But for the 2 that remain, the sword will devour them. For the sword of the one will devour him that was with him, but he will also fall by the sword in the last days. And so there you go. That's my thoughts on that. I just wanted to share that because I'd gone back and reread that section, and if we will like go back and read and read and read and like ask for understanding and allow like ourselves to be wrong, right? Like we have to allow ourselves to not get it right, but be open to what comes to us. I mean, I think there's going to be more guidance in that, and that we're not going to be surprised. But for me, myself, I'm actually kind of thinking Trump is both a short feather, because in his first term, he was very much manipulated by, and he owns this, he was manipulated by those who surrounded him, that he was naive in that first term, and that he is coming in not naive at all this time, and he is coming in with a force, and that tells me eagle head. And that's, again, me. I am open to being wrong. I don't know. I know I don't know, right? I know that I don't know. But just keep coming back and rereading the text, reread the text, and just be prayerful and honest in heart, and we'll be guided. And maybe we're wrong, but time's going to tell no matter what. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to any of you. And I might actually be brave and leave my comments on. I am actually shocked. I had, last I checked, in a week I had 90 views. I'm like, oh, I was not expecting that. And I know that that's like pathetic for most people, but for me, that's actually a pretty big deal. That's not something that I have happen. So I hope that that's been helpful for you guys. I don't know. My heart is just very much, I want to have authentic dialogue and integrity in what I put out. And so hopefully you guys feel that. And if it's of help to you, then wonderful. And if you don't agree, that's fine. You don't have to agree, because like I just said, I know that I could be wrong, and I'm open to that. I'm wrong on lots of things, but I'm also right on lots of things. And a lot of times I'm wrong on timing, and a lot of times I'm wrong on details. Like I get the general idea right, but then the details wrong. It's like, I get it. We're all just doing the best that we can, right? So anyway, keep doing the best you can to understand, and be humble and prayerful about the things that the Lord is trying to show us as we're trying to keep our eyes open and watch the signs, because that's what the Lord's told us to do, is watch for the signs. Which actually reminds me, I actually had the impression the other day that I should share a dream that I've had, a recurring dream since I was just a little child. And so I might pray more on that and make sure that I'm supposed to do that, because my impression years ago was that I was not. I was only supposed to share it with my immediate family. But maybe that's changed. So I'm going to pray about that, and I might come back and share a dream that I had with you guys. So, all right. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. Keep reading. I mean, reading and praying, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Rely on the Savior, rely on God, and trust in Him, and we're going to be okay. All right. See you next time.